Welcome to the Danny Clinkscale Reasonably Irreverent podcast. Insightful and witty commentary, probing interviews, and detours from the beaten path.
Welcome to what we hope will be the strangest edition of Reconcilable Differences with Danny and Jane for the foreseeable future. As I stare at my beautiful bride, she has a blue frozen ice pack on her foot, which for the moment is replacing a gigantic immobilizing boot. Yes, that was part of the fallout of our 18th anniversary weekend, which was more than star-crossed. I feel like, who is it? Is it Linus that walks around under a black cloud? Well, obviously this is worse for Jane because she has a fractured foot. But I'm not so sure in the long term it's not going to be worse for me. But we'll have to wait and see. And having just celebrated our 18th anniversary, I would say that the start of our 19th year together will provide another test of the beautiful and symbiotic relationship that Jane and I have. You'll get all the gory details, and we'll have some laughs, some gallows humor, some morbidity, some chuckles, we hope. I think that a lot of people view me as somebody who constantly thinks about things in maybe a slightly more negative fashion. That's not true to me. My nickname for myself is the Happy Cynic. I believe you will feel that this tale will fit into the general sense of what people think I am rather than what I am. It all comes your way next as our couple's view of life comes your way on Danny and Jane's Reconcilable Differences, or Reconcilable Differences with Danny and Jane, whichever one you like, comes up next on Arts and Lifestyle Wednesday, presented by Cinematic Visions.
Cinematic Visions has been an affordable solution for professional media production in Kansas City since 2003, offering award-winning video production and creation, as well as a wide array of digital and social media management services. From planning, scripting, filming, editing, and post-production, to delivering your product to a watching world, Cinematic Visions will provide professional and affordable services for you and your business with the necessary return on investment to make it all worthwhile. Cinematic Visions' goal is to unlock the power of storytelling through video and a strong online presence for your company. Beyond the numbers, they want to inspire and evoke your clients to feel and act. Let my friends at Cinematic Visions embed your brand where it belongs, in your customers' minds. You can find them online at cinematicvisions.com or with a quick phone call at 816-600-6300.
Hi, this is Matt Llewellyn from 23rd Street Brewery. Thank you, Kansas City, for supporting all the local restaurants during this time of crisis. Starting Thursday, May 21st, the 23rd Street Brewery will be open from 11 to 9 for carry-out and delivery service, and 4 to 9 for dine-in and patio service, if you can believe that. We're open. During this phase, we will adhere to the Douglas County recommendations for restaurants, and please see our website or our Facebook page for details. Most importantly, we want all of our guests and staff to stay safe, and together, we will all get through this.
My friends at Advanced Sports and Family Chiropractic and Acupuncture are among the most accomplished and trusted clinics in the nation. Only one clinic has been rated in the top 5 in all 3 categories of chiropractic care, acupuncture, and rehabilitation, and that clinic is ASFCA. They have locations in Olathe, Overland Park, Prairie Village, Belton, and Lee Summit. Doctors Brad and Christina Woodle and their accomplished team of doctors and therapists will treat you like family, for the simplest of injuries to the most complicated conditions to avoid surgery. Whether you are seeking treatment for an injury or just looking to stay healthy and fit, this is the place for you. And it's been the place for me for almost 2 years now. I've been a strenuous daily exerciser for years, and as time goes on, that takes its toll. But regular appointments at Advanced Sports and Family Chiropractic and Acupuncture have helped keep me ticking on, and even as the years pile up, their regular care has allowed me to keep to my regimen and feel great. If you want to feel the same, give them a call or visit them at asfca.com/Danny. They accept all insurances and are open Monday through Saturday, and make sure to mention that Danny Clinkscale recommended Advanced Sports and Family Chiropractic and Acupuncture.
If you'd like to join these and other great sponsors and market your business to a growing and engaged audience, contact us at danny@dannyclinkscale.com. Look forward to hearing from you.
Welcome back. So Saturday, June 6th dawned, which actually is the day before our wedding anniversary. actually has taken me quite a long time during our relationship to actually pinpoint the day that we were married. I know it's right around D-Day, and I took a long time to figure out whether it's the 5th or the 7th. I know it's not the 6th exactly, and even this year I was sort of thinking maybe it was the 5th. Anyway, it is June 7th, and in 2002 we had a wonderful day and got married at Lake Quivira Country Club, and many people said, "Danny, I've never seen you look so happy," which is generally a reaction. Well, anyway, 18 years down the road, and 3 years down the road from our 15th anniversary, which probably ties into this a little bit because we took a trip that time, not based on our anniversary, but we ended up in little towns in Wyoming and such, and we love little town America and drives and things like that. So, combining the fact that we needed some lighting from Jane's favorite lighting store in Manhattan, Kansas, which you can give a plug to, I guess, eventually, we were going to go to Manhattan, get the lighting we needed, and then drive on down the road to Council Grove, Kansas, and stay in an Airbnb, a basic structure we had discovered the year before when we were supposed to see the Symphony of the Flint Hills. But, of course, that was rained out, so maybe this whole thing fits in together. Well, off we go, and yes, you will hear from Jane here soon. And just before we were getting to the Topeka Toll Exchange, a indicator light came on my dashboard, and it said Alt Temp Oil, or Alt Oil Temp, doesn't really matter. And so I said, oh, well, that's interesting. Jane, could you get the manual out and take a gander at that? And said manual instructed us to immediately pull over by the side of the road and wait for the light to go out. So we paid our toll, actually, and just pulled maybe 100 yards past the toll gate. And there we sat, and the light did go out, but I called the Olathe Subaru dealership, and they very wisely instructed us that we should drive this car no further. We would eventually get another opinion, and we won't say where we got that opinion, but it was the wrong opinion, and the Olathe people were absolutely right, and we ended up getting towed. So why don't you take up a piece of the story right now, Jane, instead of me dominating the proceedings. So after the call to Olathe Subaru, there was a call of nature and some other things that were going on that would affect our life for the near future.
Well, so you were explaining what happened was we get off to the side of the road. We're kind of in a frantic mood going, how can we save this trip? So our mind was all about saving this trip, but still getting the car fixed. So we're like close to Topeka, not far from Lawrence. So you can imagine where else we called, hoping that maybe we could get a quick fix and then be on our merry way. We were still hoping for that until the Olathe Subaru dealership said, no, man, you got to tow this thing back. So Danny's frantically trying to work with AAA to get them out here as soon as possible. It's burning up. We've been driving a long way, and I finally said, you know what? I think I need to use the ladies' room. And right behind us is the new toll booth office. I thought, no problem. I'll just scurry over there, and we'll get in this tow truck and be gone. So as I'm going back there, I get to the front door. It's kind of like a prison where it's all glass that you can look at yourself. I try the door.
Inside.
Yeah, you can't see inside. I try the door. It doesn't work. I start knocking, and all of a sudden I hear this shrieking woman from the first toll booth screaming at me, going, "Can I help you, ma'am? Can I help you, ma'am?" It was like the lightning had struck. I turn around, and suddenly I'm down on the ground in the concrete. I immediately said, I think I broke something, as she's coming over in my tears and horror. And it was sort of a moment of reckoning that everything's done now.
Although we didn't decide right away that it was done now. But anyway, so I actually was still in the car 100 yards ahead. I get a text. I'm on the ground. I fell. I think I broke something. I'm like, this is not happening. This is really not happening. So I hustle down there, and Jane is sitting there inside, and this lady is being very helpful at this point, and she got ice on it, and it looks more like it's sprained. It really seemed like it was sprained. It didn't look that bad at that point in time. So I'm still thinking, well, you know what, maybe this isn't so bad. Well, that shipment, was going to sail within a short period of time. We just decided that hauling ass all the way back to Olathe, Subaru, and then thinking about going to Council Grove was just a ridiculous idea. And also, the situation was worsening with Jane's ankle and foot. So it was going to be no fun. A big part of the reason that we enjoyed Council Grove the year before, even though we got rained out of the Symphony of the Flint Hills, was that the next morning was a beautiful morning, and Jane went for a lovely walk along their river area down there, and I took a great bike ride, and we really had a nice time. There's a couple art galleries there, and even though it's a very small town, we were looking forward to, even in this age of coronavirus, which was basically going to be shutting down the restaurants that were there too, that we wanted to have this little getaway, which was to be our first time really venturing out of the house since lockdown came.
Oh, yeah. This fabulous Airbnb is a touchless Airbnb. And this woman, she completely renovated an old bank in downtown Council Grove. So we knew what we were getting into. It was, the smartest trip we could think of for an overnight.
Actually, the last year, we were the very first people to stay in a different unit in that particular building, which is in the basement. We were the very first people, and it was very nice.
It was fantastic. And so, wouldn't you know it, so we think, okay, we're going to just deal with this. This lovely woman from the toll booth, she drove me back to our car. AAA comes in this giant $200,000 rig. They hoist me up into this thing. But then the third thing that occurred, suddenly we weren't immediately going back to Kansas City. They were going to take us into Topeka first to manage another customer, and that's when I tried to fan myself back into some sort of sense of a real world experience. We did end up in Topeka. The people there were nice enough to let us go on, and we ended up going to Olathe Subaru, and
it looks like I still don't have my car back, but it looks. The big reason for what he was talking about was the fact that if indeed we took the chance to say that this may not be such a bad thing and it started bucking, that would mean you're going to blow your transmission. So instead of perhaps $1,000 repair bill, you might end up with a whole new transmission, which is about $6,000-$7,000. So they've been great people to me. I trust them implicitly, and so there we go. We go back there, and now, all right, we're going to settle in. We celebrated our anniversary. We exchanged gifts. I'm like, okay, this isn't going to be too bad. I've had a sprained ankle before, even if it's a pretty bad sprain. Jane will maybe have to be in a boot or be on crutches for a week, and then things will be better, to the point where actually we were thinking that maybe this weekend we could go.
I know, we were so optimistic. Oh my God. Unlike what most people think of you. We were both very optimistic. And then I was very good on Sunday. I kept my leg up. I was icing it all day, and I thought, oh, this is going to be better. And then Monday it was swollen, but I thought, oh, this feels like I'm okay.
And
I go
walking
to work,
relatively well.
Walking relatively well. And I go down and start working. Bad idea in a regular office setting. And I suddenly went, my foot is completely purple. This looks really worse. I think I better go in now and go to the emergency room.
Yep, and that's what we ended up doing. We'll pick up this morbid tale, but which is comical as well. And it will make for a great anniversary story down the line. I just can't even imagine what we need to do for our 19th anniversary to make up for this, but we will celebrate this 18th in further somewhere recent, hopefully down the road in maybe a couple months. We'll see. More coming up as Danny and Jane commiserate with you this time around.
More of Danny's Reasonably Irreverent podcast after this.
We're visiting with Larry Marshall, former Chiefs defensive back and punt returner, and now a Chiefs ambassador. Larry is a former pro football player with the aches and pains that come with that, and moving on in age as we all are. What do the Canaway CBD products do for you?
It's been a great relief for me. Being a punt and kickoff returner, collisions were a mainstay of my career, and these Canaway products, the salve especially, has really helped me try to get through every day with the aches and pains that I've had over a career of 7+ years in the NFL.
I get similar benefits as well, particularly with my back. Certainly wasn't a football player. What's the best way for our listeners to get more information about the great products themselves?
Well, I'm so enthused about it, Dana. They just contacted me at larrymarshall.canaway.com, and I can give them all the information they need to help them get through the day as well.
Start gaining all the benefits that Larry and I do from the trusted and reliable line of Canaway products. As Larry said, visit larrymarshall.canaway.com and get information on all the great products from Canaway. I'm here with Tim Emerson, the owner of Emerson & Company. And Tim, give us an idea of the range of services that you provide from Emerson & Company.
At Emerson & Company, we do credit card processing, payroll services. We do bookkeeping, merchant accounts like point-of-sale systems.
What would you say differentiates you from other companies in the field, and what makes you special?
I think what makes us unique is that we're a small local business making regional decisions on companies. We create a profile for the business and then put it out to our different vendors in a very competitive environment and tailor those needs to the specific business, which usually ends up in a great fit or great result for the company.
And, of course, the idea is to save money, right?
Save money, and actually sometimes I'm surprised where actually a solution that may cost a little bit more ultimately does save money, but we're not conditioned to think like that sometimes.
Emerson & Company. Check them out at emerson-co.com or call them at 816-360-9092.
For many people, a family law case will be one of the most difficult experiences in their life. The law firm of Kenneth McRae will help you through it. Personal and effective help from Ken in concert with you will develop a unique strategy for your unique case. As Ken always says, divorce can be civil law, not civil war. Licensed in Kansas? Visit McRaeLawOffice.com or call 913-972-4765.
We're here with Joe Spiker, the CEO and president of Easton Roofing. And Joe, you had a great year in 2019, a record year. 2020 comes, things are moving smoothly along, and then the coronavirus comes. But your company seemed to be very ready, very proactive, and very ready to serve your customers well.
Yeah, we adopted social distancing very early before the cities even put out the notices. And we started working from home. We are largely cloud-based as a company, so that transition was easy. Our technicians are wearing masks and gloves, and salespeople are not meeting with homeowners. We're doing everything digitally and doing everything we can to do our part to get over this as quickly as possible.
So for any needs that people have right now, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Well, you can always call us, 913-257-5426. But the best way is to go to eastonroofing.com, put your information in, and we'll give you a call.
Easton Roofing. Integrity matters. If you'd like to join these and other great sponsors and market your business to a growing and engaged audience, contact us at Danny@DannyKlinkscale.com. Look forward to hearing from you. And we're back with our tale here on Reconcilable Differences with Danny and Jane. And so the day dawns on Monday, and we figure let's go down and go to the medical practitioners and get things checked out. We do so around the noon hour. I'm working around some business things. Had to do a podcast in the morning, but we go down there. Very regular process. And why don't you pick up the first portion of the day, which seemed to be going all right, as we anticipated, perhaps still a sprain.
Yeah, well, so I get x-rays. They just kind of wheeled me in and out of the, walk-in clinic because all the regular doctors are busy where I go. And then I'm just waiting all afternoon for the news about what the x-rays have to say. Nothing. I finally have to call them back and sort of demand to know what the outcome is. And sure enough, I'm told that it's some blah, 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 blah. Basically, you have a teeny tiny little shard fracture of a bone chip in your foot. And then I look down and I'm like, and my foot's still getting worse. And I'm like, what's the protocol here? And they said, well, you might want to go to, the ortho urgent care.
So just to interject, we do the medical thing in the middle of the day. I have a meeting. I might have another meeting. But I said, if the second meeting doesn't ensue, maybe I'll actually hit the golf ball a little bit. So literally, I'm on the driving range at Tiffany Springs, and I get
where we officially
where we
met.
actually met originally, ironically enough. And it's hot, but there was a bit of nostalgia in the air for me. But then I get a text, I have a break, I have a fracture. Well, at first it was, I can't get a prognosis. Jane's sister recommended getting off the foot and not doing that, which ended up being wise advice. And so I have to scramble and say, she says, we were going to go to urgent care. You got to get back here. And I said, I'll be 20 minutes. She goes, I don't know if we're going to make it. So I'm speeding my way back here. It was indeed a situation that we could make.
Well, and so we spend almost 3 hours in urgent care, multiple more x-rays. And in the end, I'm now equipped with the boot, crutches.
Das Boot.
And they're also recommending one of those lovely knee scooters, which thankfully a dear friend of mine who also has broken something in her ankle in the last few months is going to let me borrow. It's now becoming a club really quickly of people who have had really bad sprains or fractures in their foot. I will say this, if there ever was a time to have a situation like this, why not during COVID pandemic when we're stuck in the first place? It's good. It's a good patience learner, and I have to say I may get stronger learning how to walk with crutches. We have 4 levels on our house.
Yeah, and it does create some challenges, and it's going to create some challenges for me. Now, Jane is of the opinion that this is sort of payback for when I had my knee surgery. However, I will say so far, I can tell that I was much more handy with crutches early on, and
now, wait a
eventually became quite self-sufficient, and I am hoping that indeed you will be.
Whoa. Now, you don't remember this. I got a rotator cuff issue because I had to walk the UMKC campus back and forth with your ice machine for your...
That's true.
I got a rotator cuff issue because I was helping you. I was your caregiver. This is payback, that's for sure.
Well, it quickly became easier than I'm anticipating right now. And a lot of it is just caused by the levels. And Jane works in the bottom level of our house. That's where her office is. The middle level is where my office is. There's actually 4 levels. We're sitting in the second level right now. I'm in the third. That's where the kitchen is. In the fourth, makes it sound like we live at Terra or something. We don't.
We have all
but we
height,
have a lovely
all
home.
height,
but it's not exactly.
You know what? It's fabulous.
And
the thing is, we just have to.
But it's not fabulous for this. We actually have expressed the thought of. From time to time of getting a ranch house.
Yes, we need our house gone horizontal right now. We do be doing just fine.
But we, in general, we love the way our house is structured. Jane generally goes to sleep before I do, and I can be basically 3 levels and across the house away and don't have to worry about the TV being too loud or whatever. And so our challenges will be to, help Jane out to the best of my ability and make some dinners. The TV tray, I didn't even take it in the basement because I said we're going to be using this thing a few times. And I can cook, although it's I don't often cook, but I can cook.
My favorite thing yesterday when I was at the ortho urgent care was they hand me the boot and they go, well, you have to wear this 24 hours a day. I said, you mean when I sleep? And I'm like, that is impossible. There is no fucking way that I'm sleeping in this boot. Don't tell my doctor. It's not happening.
Yeah, I don't quite understand that part. I think maybe it's because they think maybe you'll get up in the night and you'll just, half groggily stumble to the bathroom without your boot. That would be my idea. But yes, let's keep that a secret between you and the thousands of people out there who are listening to this particular podcast. We will have updates on this. We won't make it a weekly topic, certainly. But I think that the real thing here that probably makes this, yes, we've been taught patience but now in succession, we have had the coronavirus, now a national debate, and a contentious one on racial equality, certainly. Our nation has gone through a couple of sets of turmoil, and hopefully it all becomes good progress in the end, and we hope so. But really, to dollop this on top of it, you're coming out the other side of Corona, trying to get business rolling again, and so now I'll have 2 full-time jobs, which is nice.
Hey, I think we need to have some call-ins, people talking about their fracture experiences with their feet.
That would be Danny at DannyKlinkscale.com if you'd like to be part of this. I actually do encourage some emails, and we'd be glad to respond to those. Maybe as part of a future podcast, absolutely. But cross your fingers for us. If it's in your wheelhouse, say a prayer. That probably won't help me, but you never know. As we navigate forward, and what I can't wait for is to come here on a Wednesday in whoever knows how long and talk to you again about travel, because we will have just traveled somewhere. That's what I'm hoping for as we conclude another fine edition, this one with a smile on our face, despite and a melody in our heart, as we conclude this edition of Reconcilable Differences with Danny and Jane, maybe concluding it. Yes, dear.
As we say, let's get cracking.
Oh, no. No. Bye-bye. See you in 2 weeks.
We hope you enjoyed the latest Danny Klinkscale Reasonably Irreverent podcast. Come back soon for something fresh and new. This podcast was made possible by our great sponsors like
the law offices of Kenneth McRae, developing a unique strategy for your family law case. Divorce can be civil law, not civil war.